So there's a question I think we should have now that AI is becoming so much more prevalent and so many people are using it in various different ways, some for design, some for coding, some for just helping you brainstorm. Whatever you're using it for, it has an impact upon how you work and the perception of the job that you do as a web designer. So this leaves us the question, how should you charge for this in the future? Where you've got potential clients coming to you and asking you to build a website, are you going to change your pricing structure based upon the fact that you would use AI? Do you think they're going to expect you to be cheaper with the sort of whole concept of, well, you use AI, so therefore that's doing all the work for you? This is a conversation I think is definitely worth having. It's something that Reno over on his channel sort of created a short about, and it kind of piqued my interest, and I wanted to put this together to ask you what you think about this. I've got a couple of thoughts. I think, first of all, as a web designer, and let's use the term web designer as a kind of catch-all for what you do, good ones are doing a lot more than just building the nuts and bolts of a website. They're understanding a lot of things that AI simply can't understand and can't do for you. And this is something I've got a deeper video coming out in a few days about. But it kind of leads us on to that question of, well, what are we bringing to the table if we're letting AI do various different things? Well, I would argue there's quite a lot that a good web designer, like I say, the term web designer to cover everything, can actually do that AI just simply won't be able to do. Understanding things like the flow, how you get a potential customer or client or buyer, whatever it is, through the website, whether it's a homepage, a landing page, or whatever. Understanding how to do that effectively, efficiently, and convert based upon the website. So it doesn't matter then if you're using AI, a page builder, hand coding. What you're doing is you have skills and understanding and knowledge that means that you can take those component pieces in whatever way that they're created and create a structure that does a job. That's where your skill and understanding comes in. And I think this is just one example of what a web designer brings to the table over and above the tools they use. So if you are using AI, is it really any different to using something like a page builder? There was the argument that, well, if you hand coded, that was one skill level. Then you started using WordPress, which took away a lot of that hand coding. Then you started using page builders, which meant you could build sites quicker and just be much easier to create, and also a more visual way of creating. So people that weren't necessarily coders could come in and build things using tools like Elementor, Bricks, and so on. That is a simple analogy or simple example of how things change over time and the tools make our lives easier. But should we then cut our costs based upon that? That's the question I want to pose in this video. So I want you to take 5 minutes to have a little think about this and then drop a comment down below on what your thoughts are. Do you think, or have you already started changing your pricing structure? Do you think that using AI is no different to using another tool, and it's the skills, the knowledge, the experience, the understanding you have of the whole process is what you're charging customers for and not the tools you use to build it? In my opinion, that's where we should be selling our value. We should be selling the skills, the knowledge, the experience we picked up. And when people question, well, you can do this quickly with AI, well, you can throw it back at them and say, well, so could you, but you came to me for a reason. Was it because you wanted my skills and experience and my knowledge and my understanding of years of working with clients and building effective websites that do a job, they convert, they sell, whatever? Or are you coming to me simply to build something that looks pretty? If the answer is the second one, well, basically that's probably a client you don't want. But if it's the first one, you basically answered the argument there. The tools are not important. The skills, the knowledge, the understanding, and the experience that you have to complete the job is the most important thing. But like I say, let me know your thoughts. Drop a couple of comments down below. Let me know. And as always, my name is Paul C. This is WPTuts, and until next time, take care.